Hey, welcome to my first 1-week sketchbook that I have ever done. So I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube about 1-week sketchbook challenge and stuff. So I figured I would go ahead and give it a shot. And I did record a lot of my process while doing this. This is definitely, no, it's not. I did a sketchbook in 2 days, but it was a really tiny sketchbook in high school. But besides that, this is probably the fastest I've filled up a sketchbook. It is an Artist Loft 4" by 4" drawing sketchbook. I've had it on my shelf for a while. I definitely bought it impulsively, and I figured this is the time for me to do it. I'm gonna bust it out. I'm gonna do this 1-week sketchbook challenge and we'll be good. So in the start, I set a couple of rules for myself. I set 5 rules, not a couple, I set 5. Number 1, no couch or TV time until the pages are done. I did pretty good with that. Number 2, stickers and gluing things in doesn't count. Also did very good with that. I didn't stick or glue anything in. Number 3, no judging your work. This helped me to get things done and just throw stuff down on the page so I could hit my page count by the end of the day. Number 4, anything goes. Again, same reasoning, it helps me get through the pages by the end of the day. And number 5, listen to music, not YouTube. You focus better. That's true, but I did start to get kind of bored of this challenge after a couple of days. So I would be watching YouTube and I would draw what I see on the screen. It's kind of like a test of how quickly can I draw things. So I did kind of break that rule, but that's all right. I still did it. I still did this. You'll see that I draw Mocha a lot because Mocha's always around me. Mocha's always there. And I need to get better at drawing her. I cannot get her head shape right. I really should study dog anatomy, but I just haven't. So for this sketchbook, I worked on it Sunday to Sunday. I took the Saturday off. I just ran out of time and couldn't get anything. I just couldn't draw. I didn't have time. So in total, 7 days of work. And before I even started, I sectioned this book out into the different days that I would have to work. So I put a sticky note on the last page of the day. So I knew that once I hit that sticky note, I was done for the day, which helped me not have to worry about counting pages and stuff. Another thing I did with this is I took it to work and I would sketch on my lunch breaks and stuff, in my car. I don't really like sitting in the break room. I like to sit outside. So I would be sketching in my car. I drew my car steering wheel. I drew the Sylveon that I keep hanging from my rear view mirror. I drew some of the environment around outside of me. I drew stuff from imagination. I drew trees. Remember that I don't like drawing trees, and then the next day I would go in and I'd draw more trees. I also drew, again, a lot of Mocha. During this process, the first couple of pages that I would be drawing, I would be kind of lost. What am I doing? What can I draw? And oftentimes what I do is I would just look up and look around at what's something in front of me that I can draw right now. So sometimes, and just be random stuff that I could draw. I drew a set of coasters at one point. I also did a figure drawing study in here. I've found this YouTuber, there's actually quite a few out there, but anyways, the person will pose in front of the camera for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes with a couple of each time. And then I'll draw that while she's on screen. I've been drawing mostly from this one woman. I'm trying to get through all of her videos, and it has helped me actually get faster at drawing. It's helped me learn anatomy a little bit more. I'm not seeing any significant differences yet, but I also have another larger sketchbook that I've been doing most of my practices in. I just did it in my 1-week sketchbook this week once because I was having a bad day. I didn't know what to draw, so I figured, well, here's a study that I'm trying to do, so let me just fill up some more pages. Another thing I would do is I would draw YouTubers as I was watching YouTube. I used a lot of pen. I used this Pilot High-Tech C ink ballpoint pen, which is not waterproof, and then a regular Bic ballpoint pen, which is waterproof. One of the days I was doing a study of movement. I had just read an article by James Gurney about learning how to draw movement. So I took my sketchbook to my boyfriend's soccer game and I sat on the sidelines and I was like drawing the players as they went across the field and as they were moving. Soccer players move a lot. Literally everybody, even the goalie is like constantly pacing. The person who was the most still was the referee. But these sketches are loose and rough and like you can kind of see where the head is and you're like, oh, I think that's a torso and a leg and an arm, but I'm not sure. Again, it was practice. It was my first time doing this, so the sketches are ugly. But it was the first time that I filmed myself in public, which felt weird, which felt stressful. I was like, what's everyone gonna think? Like, what am I doing here? I really tried not to capture anybody like in the view of the camera besides myself. I think I did a good job with that. And now I understand that like when YouTubers like, oh, I feel so awkward filming in public, like now I get it. I think as I do it more, I'll get more comfortable with it. But this was a good practice run, you know? Nobody was really staring me down or anything. I feel like I'm rambling about the soccer games. Okay. Some of my more favorite pages are the acrylic clouds that I painted. They're all from Imagination. And what I was doing is I was actually working on painting a brush rest that I made out of air dry clay. And I was painting them this blue color. I made two. They're identical almost. I was painting them blue and I had a lot of leftover paint. So I would alternate between painting a layer and then painting the clouds. And this is really cheap acrylic, so it dried super fast. So I was able to get through a lot of pages of clouds. Those are some of my more favorite ones. And then the second to last day probably has my favorite collection of sketches. So on the second to last day, I took my sketchbook to a park where I often go, like during a break or whatever. And there was this duck sitting at a pond and he was sleeping. And he didn't move the entire time I was there. So what I did was I would just like walk around him. I kept my distance so I wouldn't startle him or scare him away. But I just drew him in so many different angles. Like I figured out he had these two little cute flicks of feathers on his butt. I don't know what that is. I don't know like anything about duck anatomy or whatever, but it was fun. And he was the best bird model I have had so far at that park because he just held still for so long. It was great. The last day I was just kind of throwing stuff in the paper. I was kind of done. Like I didn't want it. I didn't care if it looked good. I just wanted everything to be done. And then it was. I think if I were to retry this challenge, I would, first of all, choose a bigger sketchbook, one with the ability to handle wet media a bit better. And then I would also extend the challenge to be like a whole month instead of 1 week. So that way I could have a bit more time to focus on the pages and not feel so stressed and be like, oh, I can't work on anything that's creative because I have to do these pages. So it was a good experience. I did learn a lot about myself and I did try a lot of new things. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye. Also, I forgot to say this while I was filming my main video, but by the time you're watching this, I should have my website posted. It will be linked in the description, and I have a lot of original paintings for sale on there. So I'm really excited to finally share this. It's taken a lot of work to put a website together, and I hope you enjoy seeing everything I have for sale.